Hi, this is my reflections for Module 5. So, I really enjoyed this week. We looked at a lot of different websites. The first question asks, what were your 3 favorite websites that you examined in this module? Describe the particular components that you found particularly useful. So the first one that I looked at was BrainPop, and I really thought that was very cute. I thought that it was just visually stunning. It's definitely geared toward younger kids, but when I looked around in it, it did say that could go up to high school. I do think that high school students might think it's a little bit childish, but I still liked it, so maybe not. Um, Particularly useful. I really liked that it had like things in there that you could get into and just play around, and that you could actually put a student on it, and I think they would enjoy it. The second one I looked at was atomiclearning.com. That one was, I liked the way it was set up. It looked a little bit like BrainPop in that it had like all these grids and stuff, but when you get into them, to me it just looked like it was all for a teacher and not, you couldn't stick a student on there to play a game. It was more teacher oriented, which was great. I mean, honestly, I'm looking around and I looked at, it was saying, I forget now what it said, but it said higher education was one portal you could go into, and then the other was like, you know, your basic K through 12 learning, and there's a lot in there. And I think, you know, some of the stuff I found was talking about the higher education stuff that I got into was talking about how to be a better student and that kind of thing. And the lower stuff was talking about how to engage students in the classroom. So I thought that it was really something worthwhile if you have extra time or you're really wanting to learn a particular thing, that you could use that for it. I did look at the Kathy Schrock website. There's a lot of stuff in there, but I did feel like it wasn't very orderly. It wasn't very easy to get around the website. But then I did want to mention that, well, I guess that's the next question, so I won't get into that, but it says, describe your experience using Kia, and do you think it is something that you could use as a future teacher? Actually, when I got into Kia, I was completely lost. I was like, I don't think I'll ever use this because it's way too complicated. I want things I can like look at it and it's very self-explanatory. It took me a while and a couple YouTube videos to figure out what the heck I was doing. And then I guess I was just kind of not very creative minded at the time that I did my first activity, and I couldn't really think of anything. And then when I did come up with something, I was just like, I didn't really know what I was doing, so it didn't turn out that great, but I wasn't too disappointed with it. I thought it was cool that I could put pictures in there, and then with my second one, I used the periodic table, and it turned out really good. So I was pretty impressed that with just a little bit of time, and if I had a specific idea that I was going to need for my class, then I think I would use it quite often actually. So that was pretty cool. After searching the OER repositories, were you able to find any resources useful for your future classroom? And do you see OER as important sources of content in the future? I definitely think that I will use the Kia. I think that's an important resource. BrainPop, it depends on the age of the child. And Atomic Learning, I always have these big plans that at some point I'm going to have a lot of time to sit down and read these articles, but my time is just very limited, and I don't see as being a teacher I'm going to have a lot more time. So possibly if I was trying to find something that I needed to share with other teachers, you know, I'm thinking of a particular assignment that I have due Friday where I have to prepare something that I would share with other teachers. So maybe I'd learn it, I'd use it for that. And do I see it as important sources of content in the future? Absolutely. I think it's awesome that you can get this, just a lot of this stuff is just free. Some of it you have to pay for, but I think it's pretty cool that you've got teachers that are willing to share because they know what, you know, they've been doing this, they know what they're doing, or they had a great idea and they can share it with others, and I think that's really neat. I liked how Kia was that way set up so that you could use other people's activities, and that's pretty cool. And I know that there's other websites out there like the Kathy Schrock one too. So all in all, I think it was a success, just looking at all these different online things and how we could use them as future teachers. And that's all I gotta say. Thanks.